Hey guys, it's Joran Oppolt, Senior Consultant of the Grove. I'm here live again on a Wednesday, this time February 12th. Thank you to everybody tuning in and watching. I am streaming to my Facebook page, I am streaming to my LinkedIn page, and I am also streaming to my YouTube channel. So if you are watching this on any of those platforms, please go ahead and leave me a comment. I'm going to be keeping an eye on when people are tuning in and commenting and trying to respond to those in real time. And I'm always excited to do these live streams spur of the moment and just to see who shows up. It's always fun to see who rolls in today on a Wednesday at the end of the day. It's 4:20 my time, and it's here in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's rainy and a little dreary out. Roads are slick. I'm gonna go drop the kids off later, and yeah, kind of dreading getting out on those roads. But it's cool. It's cooled off a little bit. Again, it was warm for about a week or so, and now it's cooling off again. So let me know in the comments where you are at and how you are doing. Some of the people who have tuned in and watched these are people I haven't connected with in a long time. So don't just watch, please leave a comment. I would love to hear from you and connect with you and hear from you about what you've been up to. I am tuning in today to tell everybody about an upcoming workshop that I have coming up in April. So I want to go over some of the basics of the Grove's team performance model. This is one of our most sought after offerings. This is one of our most, we'll say, popular or most effective frameworks that the Grove uses. Hello, somebody's tuning in. Hello there. We're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Wherever you're watching from, please give a comment, give a shout out, and let me know that you are watching. I am responding to comments in real time. So I'm going to hop on here and talk a little bit about the Grove's team performance model. And then at the end, there'll be a special offer for those who hang in the whole time. But yeah, I see somebody's tuned in, so please drop a comment, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and show the, show the screen. There it is. This is the team performance system through the Grove. This is this is the one that is all about creating and sustaining high performing teams. Now, it's also there are other Grove methodologies, like the principles of graphic facilitation or strategic visioning, which is a visual planning system for turning insight into action. This is all about teaming. So this is all about people, culture, starting teams up, leading teams, creating and sustaining that high-performing state that you get when you work on or with teams. We might also say this framework provides visual tools for commitment and innovation and high performance. So I'm going to roll in here, and I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see, because every Grove methodology is based on the Theory of Process by Arthur Young. And to kind of wrap your head around the theory of process, you kind of have to know the 4 flows. We talk about the flows a lot at the Grove. And this is an example of what the flows are. Moving from the top, which is freedom, down to the bottom, which we call constraint. You can imagine a person standing on the ground with their head in their clouds and feet on the ground. This is kind of where we have visionary consciousness, aspiration at the top of the model, and concrete infrastructure, stability where the rubber hits the road, kind of granularity and operations at the bottom. So we're always moving between freedom and constraint. right? As human beings, we're always navigating that ability to point our consciousness somewhere, to point our attention and awareness somewhere, and the need to systematize or operationalize or build infrastructure around those big ideas. So we're always navigating and bouncing back and forth between um, those two poles of this model. But in between the attentional flow, the flow of awareness and consciousness and spirit, just below that, we have this second lens represented in the pink called energy. As we move down into the energetic flow, we're talking about movement and emotion and feeling and resonance, and it's the flow of the heart and relationship. That's where you start to see people connecting. That's where you start to see that awareness and attention start to have a direction or to be pointed at something or someone. Moving down into the third flow, the blue line, you'll see it's labeled information. That is the flow of language and archetype and image and typography and iconography, right? It's the flow of the mind and the thinking flow, and we're always constantly filtering with our mind all of this information that is coming at us. So when that's happening, that's when we're down in that third flow, that flow of information, of language and image, text and graphics, right? And then down in the fourth flow, the green one, we call that operations. And that is all about the body and sense making and infrastructure and making decisions and tool building and systematizing and actually doing. So we've got these four flows from attention, energy, information, and operations, AEIO. And we like to say that you are in the middle of all of these flows as they are unfolding or happening. You, the letter U, you are understanding your position or understanding the balance or the harmony that's created when you are navigating these four flows of process. I see a couple people tuned in now. I'm going to say again, please leave a comment. I'm streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So wherever you're watching from, please leave a comment so that I can say hello and let me know where you're watching from. So here's then laid on top of the four flows are the 7 stages of the team performance model. Now, we say stages, but we can also call them structures. We can also call them lenses. There's something that is very non-linear about the team performance model. It's not a serialized process that all teams go through. Something like people familiar with the Tuckman model, where it's forming, storming, norming, performing. It's not as neat and tidy as stage 1, 2, 3, 4. But there are 7 discrete stages to the Drexler Civic Team Performance Model. Orientation, trust building, goal clarification, commitment, implementation, high performance, and renewal. And it is a little bit more nuanced version of something like the Tuckman model. You know, if you're familiar with the forming, storming, norming, something like implementation isn't present in that model. So as teams move into implementation mode, there was a need for a model that considered not only the stages that they're functioning in, but also as they're navigating the flows, mapping it top to bottom. So you'll see that orientation starts up in the awareness. When you get into trust building, you're moving into energy. When you're clarifying your goals, you're moving into the informational flow. And when you are committing as a team, you are down in the operations. You've then clarified your why, who, what, and how. And then when you make the turn, sometimes people call this the bouncing ball model. When that ball bounces and you've made the turn into sustaining that team, you can then move back up into the informational flow, which moves you into implementation. The information is very important when you move into the who's doing what, when, where. And then when you move into that synergistic flow state, you're back up into energy. And then when you move into renewal, you're zooming out and you're deciding again where to put your attention as a team, where to put your awareness. You're focusing back again on your why and your purpose, and asking why or why not continue as a team. As we zoom in on stage one, you know that there's things that help teams and hinder teams at each of these stages or structures. So at stage one, we look for resolved indicators that teams know their purpose, they have a clear identity, they know what it means to be a member of that team. If there are unresolved indicators, they might look like people being disoriented, not knowing why they're there, people being uncertain, or people having some fear around the purpose, and that they are maybe not in the right place at the right time. Stage two, what helps teams here, the resolved indicators are mutual regard. That is that respect for one another, forthrightness, direct, honest communication, reliability, consistency on the teams that you're on. And those unresolved indicators, that sense of caution or withholding, distrust, facade, masking, maybe holding back your ideas, maybe not showing up as your authentic self. Those are the things that we're looking for at stage two, the things that help and hinder teams at stage two. If you're just tuning in, please drop a comment and let me know you're watching. Say hello, and I'd love to hear from you. This is the Groves Team Performance Model, and I'm just walking through it kind of stage by stage. Stage three, when we get to the what, we've got the why, who, and now the what. What are we doing? We're down in the informational flow. We're looking for the resolved indicators that we've got some really clear goals outlined. We've got that bullseye now. We know where we're headed. We've got a shared vision, and we have assumptions that are explicit, right? We can ask things of each other and have clear assumptions about what it is we're doing and where we're headed. The unresolved indicators at stage three are that continued sense of apathy, not that sense of you not being bought in to the work that the team is doing, being skeptical that the team is able to even hit those goals, or skeptical that the leader of the team is the right person to get you to the place that you're going. All kinds of apathy and skepticism start to crop up here at stage three. And then irrelevant competition. You sometimes see teams focused on not only external competition, like, we'll never hit those goals because such and such company is already so many steps ahead of us, but also internal competition. Focused on what another division is doing, or focused on the way that another team is performing. So all of that irrelevant competition starts to creep in at stage three as well, as something that holds them back from committing, which is the next vital step, right? So the next step, stage four, commitment, brings you all the way down into the green, the operational flow. And we're looking at resolved indicators of role clarity. And we know how we're going to make decisions when this happens. We know this is going to happen next. We know we're going to reach out for so-and-so's input. We've got our decision-making models clear, our MOCA, our RACI, our RAPID, all of those things are laid out. We know the resources are allocated. We know leadership has our back. The funding's in place. The budget's been approved. All of those things are resolved indicators that help teams at stage four, help teams commit. And also that they have a stake, right? As Chris McGough writes about in the Primes, that they have a personal stake in the change that's happening or the commitment that the team is making. And then unresolved indicators at stage four are dependence on the old ways of thinking and doing, or resistance to change, resistance to new ways of doing things. That all keeps that ball from gaining momentum and bouncing off of this platform. But if they are able, this team is able to commit and make the turn, move up into implementation, back up into that informational flow of blue, then we're looking for resolved indicators of clear processes and alignment, and being very disciplined about their execution, right? Having dashboards, ways to track what's happening, clear roadmaps on where they're headed that they can check in on. And maybe there's even process maps, visual process maps that tell the whole team how things go, right? Service model blueprints, customer journeys, all of that visual mapping becomes really important during implementation, so that nothing gets bottlenecked and nobody gets stuck. But if there's unresolved indicators, things that hinder teams, there is that conflict and confusion about what people are doing, people dropping the ball, not knowing, missing deadlines, and just be in general misalignment on the team. We put all this work in, we had our kickoff, and now we're doing the project, but now nobody knows what the hell's going on. And that can definitely hinder a team's work at stage 5. But if they're able to push through and reach this synergistic flow state, get that momentum and get the work going, you're going to see resolved indicators of that synergy and hitting or exceeding their results, and having that spontaneous interaction with each other, having a sense of when we talk about interdependency on teams, it's like a hockey team that passes the puck, right? I'm able to pass my idea or my project along to someone. I know someone is going to make that idea or project better. There is that sense of interaction and trust happening on high performing teams. But if there's unresolved indicators, they might look like overloaded employees and just a lack of harmony happening on the team. And you can imagine when a puck is, missed, something that high speed and high stakes like that at stage 6, and somebody drops the ball, you can imagine that's a big disappointment for people. So there's some trust building that needs to be built back up, and we'll get into that in a minute. Stage 7, you'll see resolved indicators of celebrating, looking back, recognizing the accomplishments that everybody had, and talking about how you've mastered the change or made the turn at stage 4 and commitment, and having conversations about how the team is going to have staying power as they return, enter into the renewal process and focus back again on their why and reinitiate another kickoff or another project or another quarter or another year, whatever it is you're celebrating. And if your unresolved indicators are popping up at the renewal stage, it's like people are just wanting to bail out. They're wanting to deploy that parachute. They're bored, they're burned out, and they're done. And sometimes you can get them back on board with some best practices, and sometimes it's just time for people to go. So you can see that when the model is all put together, all 7 of those stages kind of interact dynamically. You can see the gray arrows in between. Sometimes you can roll back to a stage, like say from stage 3 to stage 2. But in the instance of stage 5, you can see that gray arrow points right back across the model to the left. If you've moved into implementation, you don't roll back to stage 4 and recommit. You've got to roll all the way back across to the left side of the model and reclarify your goals. And just as we were talking about before with that hockey team, if you're in stage 6 and high performing stage, synergistic flow state, somebody drops the ball, you can see that gray arrow points all the way back across the model to trust building. You've got to reestablish all of that trust and get that team back up and running again. So that's the model, brief overview of the model. If you choose to attend the workshop where you get certified in this model and you get trained all around the model, at each stage of the model, we've got best practices that we train you in. And you get those templates as part of the workshop. We've got the ORS template, the meeting startup. We do the interdependence continuum, the team charter, which is a brand new Grove template available on the website. Success looks like, where we're envisioning success, painting done, right? Painting what a win looks like personally and for the team. The graphic game plan, which is a kind of a classic Grove template. We do that as part of the goal setting stage. And so all of those templates come bundled in the workshop, and there's a bunch more that we do. We talk about OKRs, we talk about Rosebud Thorn, we talk about a whole array of best practices to use with teams at each of the stages. Another thing that comes with the your enrollment in the workshop is the Team Leader Guide. This is an amazing book. It's probably one of the best books out on group collaboration you could find. It's packed with 103 of these best practices, whether it's road mapping or game planning or Gantt charting or tips for starting teams up or trust building exercises or work style preferences and pop-up sessions and all kinds of best practices at each stage. And then in the back, there are 13 success strategies mapped out as flowcharts for when you need to create buy-in from leadership or do some stakeholder engagement and reach out to other stakeholders, internal or external, or when you need to take an in-person engagement and turn it into a virtual engagement. There's all kinds of strategies for success in the back of the Team Leader Guide, which are great. This book was redone and republished a few years ago, and it's got some new illustrations, new graphics in it. So if you have the old version, you don't yet have the Team Leader Guide 2.0, now might be a good time to upgrade. Another thing that comes as part of the workshop is you get certified to as an administrator of the Team Performance Survey, which means you then have access to the back end. You can deploy surveys for $50 per person when you need to for the teams that you're working with. And that's all in partnership with Tom over at Grove Tools. That Team Performance Survey is a really robust and visual survey that allows you to do visual reporting. It gives you little bar graphs to see where the strengths and opportunities are at each of the 7 stages for the individuals, as well as an aggregate for the team. That allows you to then go in and do a team improvement meeting with a group using this survey and assess and address those strengths and gaps. And you doing the survey with a group really drills down into the adoption of the model as a shared language for that team. There's so many teams that I'm trying to see if we'll get to the companies who are using team performance throughout the world, but there's a lot of them that are using it and swear by it. And yeah, the surveys are really, really fantastic feature of it. Another thing, after you are a graduate of the workshop, you get inducted into the Team Performance community. So we've got a growing LinkedIn group of all the workshop graduates around the world who've ever done the Grove Team Performance workshop and are either survey administrators or internal consultants or enterprise leads or anybody that's graduated from the workshop is part of this community. And we now do a free monthly Zoom call for everyone that's part of the global Team Performance community on the 3rd Thursday of the month. So after the workshop, you'll be invited to that as well. Here's the deck. Here's the slide I was talking about earlier, and that is just all the companies who use and swear by Team Performance from the Grove, and that includes Wells Fargo and WL Gore and Humana and Apple and Nike. In fact, Nike was the organization that the Grove partnered with years ago when developing the survey. They needed to multiple teams to kind of roll up their sleeves and try to break the set of questions that they were testing. And Nike was the organization that kind of honed and refined and I won't say perfected, but that set of questions now, no matter what language your team is speaking, those words become meaningful. And there was some rigorous testing around the language and the way the questions were written. We Nike to thank for that. So lots of organizations that use Team Performance and swear by it, and we just are always appreciative of their partnership and support. And and so if you are interested in getting certified in the Grove's Team Performance model, or if you're curious about the Grove's Team Performance system and how to roll that out or scale that across your teams or throughout your organization, this workshop would be a really great place to start. It's 4 sessions. It's 4 days. It's a Monday, Tuesday, and a Monday, Tuesday. So 4 5-hour sessions. You don't need to have taken strategic visioning. You don't need to be a graphic facilitator or a graphic recorder. You don't need to have any prerequisites in place for this. You can just show up as is. It's 11:30 to 4:30 my time. That's Eastern US time, and the cost is $2,200 for the course. Now, if you've watched this video all the way to the end, I want you to message me for this discount. The year of my birth, 1976. I'm going to offer that early bird price for you all if you just reach out to me. And where's the banner? Dun, dun, dun. Here's how you do that. I'm going to put the little banner on the bottom. Just email me at that email on the screen, and I will extend that early bird offer to you. Additionally, if you work with a nonprofit or in government, or if you're a solo practitioner, we want to extend the discount of $17.60 to you. So you can reach out to the Grove to that. Actually, I think on the registration page, there is a code where you can enable that if you qualify for one of those three categories. So the URL is there, thegrove.com/courses/team-performance. We'd love to see you in the workshop. I would love to see you in the workshop. And this will be, I don't know how many of them I've done, but I enjoy teaching the team performance workshop, I would say, more than any of the other workshops that we do. It's just a fantastic framework. Like I said, it's rooted in that theory of process and the 4 flows. So all of the we get to geek out around models and frameworks and, Jungian psychology and group process and things like that, as the team kind of rolls their sleeves up and kind of dives deep into understanding the Drexler Civet team performance model, which I am a big fan of and I use all the time with my clients. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section, and please let me know where you're watching. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, and appreciate you guys tuning in. And that wraps up my live stream for this Wednesday. So I'm going to go and get out on those wet roads. Everybody be safe out there. Stay warm. Take care of each other. Reach out to me if you need anything or if you just need somebody to talk to. Okay, you're not alone, and we're in this together. All right. Talk to you all very soon. Stay tuned for the next live stream, and I'll see you later. Bye now.